Hi everyone, welcome to another video. It's been a while and I was going to give myself the excuse that I haven't been feeling great. Like you might be able to hear it in my voice, but it's always something. Let's be honest, it's always something. It's work, it's school, it's everything, and if I keep postponing this, I'll never make a video. And this is honestly something that's important to me. I love journaling, and I don't have a lot of people in my day-to-day life that I can share this with, and I want to be part of the fun and the community and share my notebooks with you the same way that I consume avidly the content from other creators. So since I've been I don't even remember when was the last time that I uploaded a video, so I thought that it would be kind of fun to go through the notebooks that I have finished throughout the year and just, show you what I've been up to, what I've done, and so on. So far for 2025, I've completed 4 of the Traveler's Notebooks inserts. I've been loving the Traveler's Notebook system. I am still doing that as of right now. I have the other half of the year right here. So I'm using this one for planning, well, not really, more memory keeping than anything else. But so I'm still actively using that, and I can show you the first half. Then I have also completed 2 kind of daily journaling type of inserts, which are these 2. One that covers January to May, and this one that covers May to July. And this is my approach to commonplacing / reading journal. So those are the 4 that I'll be showing you today. The only thing that's probably different from Traveler's Notebooks that I've done this year is this notebook right here, which was designed by my sister. So I of course needed to try it, but once I'm done with this one, I'll go back to the size of inserts. Probably not the Traveler's Notebooks brand, but I plan to use good is it Good Impressions? Good Impressions, I think that's the name, because they use Tomo River paper, and you can design the size of the squares inside the notebooks, so they'll be a lot smaller than this one. So yeah, so now I started talking about 100 million things, but let me go back to the issue at hand. So I think I'll start with the planner. So I really love the blue of this one. Honestly, it's not a color that I gravitate towards, but I really like that the sticker that comes with the insert had a cat, and I like the drawing style. And I included a mermaid sticker because during this half of the year was when we went to Hawaii. So yes, this is the cover. I wanted to track vacation, meetings, and tasks, but that ended up falling through the cracks, and I don't think I actually did that. I usually use this portion to track birthdays, but I think I didn't track all of those. So I don't know, I might have to get better at that for next year. And I remember that for the first few pages of this one, I actually backtracked because I didn't get the notebook exactly at the beginning of the year. I like playing with the layout to see if I liked it, and I actually did. I think it started very well. I'm not sure if I'm liking it for the second half of the year, which is why for 2026 I'm planning to move into Hobonichi weeks. But I enjoyed it while I did it. During the first weeks of 2025, we went to Universal Studios. I took my niece and my nephew, and it was such a dream come true because I love Universal, and it was just such a dream to be able to take them with me. And I don't know, I love them, and they get along with my daughter so well. Like, if you see them, it's like they're siblings and not just cousins. So I don't know, it was really amazing. Then right after we got back from Universal and we arrived in Georgia, it started snowing. And I've been living in Georgia for 10 years, and honestly, it was the first time that I saw snow that way. Like, it's just so many inches of snow, and everything looked so bright and white and beautiful. And we made a little snowman and, played around, and I felt like I was a little kid again. And it was just so beautiful, and being able to share that with my family felt just priceless. Then some pictures of Lunita, and a picture of my beardie. I have a bearded dragon. Her name's Mochi. Then we took Felix, one of my cats, on an outing, and I used one of those carriers that I think is meant for babies, but they have it for cats too, and he hated it, and it was just such a mess, and he wouldn't stay. He wouldn't want to stay there, and I had to take him out, and it was just a nightmare, but it was fun, and at least I have a picture of that. This one was kind of empty. Usually when it's empty, it's because I had too much going on and I didn't have time to sit with my journal. But this is a picture of my sister because it was her birthday that week. A picture of Mochi, and a picture of some of the editions that I have of The Little Prince, because I put them all together in my studio, and I used one of the Pop Smart figurines that they released for the Little Prince collection, and I don't know, it looks so pretty. The Little Prince is one of my favorite books, so when they released that collection, I think it's a Hirono collection, I was the happiest. I have two of them. I have the one that has the rose and that one, and I am in love with those. Then some cute pictures of I think it's actually the three of them, but I'm pretty sure you can barely tell on the screen. It's three cats right here. Ash, Felix, and Tom. Luna hates to be around them. Like, she'll probably leave them alone and go to my room instead of being there. A really cute picture of the view from my office, and a picture of my niece because it was her birthday that week. A lot of birthdays in February. It was also my sister's birthday and my brother's birthday, my little brother's birthday, and just a few stickers and to-dos. And then I had a day off during this week, and everything else is just some to-dos. Same on this part. My daughter took a really cute picture of Felix, and I wrote about that. And I also wrote about this weird green cheese that we got from Aldi's. It was literally green, and I'd never seen anything like that, and I just thought it was really cute. More pictures of Lunita, and the to-do list right here. I'm trying, or I should say, I try on a regular basis to take pictures of myself, just because I don't like them when I take them, but then as time goes by, it's a nice reminder that I am young and that I've liked the way I looked at some points of my life. I think one of my biggest regrets is that I don't have a lot of pictures of my pregnancy, because I had, like, my self-esteem was like on the floor, and taking pictures just felt weird, and today I just wish that I had taken them anyway. But yeah, that's a story for another day probably. But so March, I started this project where I started doing little clay houses and putting them in like different places. But I was so sad because when I went back to that trail, it's the Silver Lining Trail, somebody had taken them out, and I don't know, I had glued them, so it was just impossible to just take them. So somebody just took them, And I don't know, that discouraged me a little bit, but I want to continue to do that in some shape or form. And what else? So the week of March 17th, I finished reading Cadáver Exquisito by Agustina Basterrica. I think it's Tender is the Flesh in English, and it was a really brutal book because it's kind of a dystopian narrative where animals have been infected by a virus, so humans cannot eat animal meat anymore, so they start making human meat available, and it's just so disgusting. It's a really good book, but I don't think I would reread it. It's just really brutal. This is the week I pre-ordered Alchemist, which I haven't read, but I just received this week. And I also got The Bell Jar, which I also have not read because my TBR pile is just crazy. And this is the week where I took my daughter to get her piercing. This was like, I don't know if you're a parent, this was crazy. I was just so scared because I don't know, like it's just such a big like thing. But then again, when I was her age, I also wanted a piercing, and I felt so scared to tell my mom that I wanted one, so I ended up doing it by myself and just telling her once everything was done. So I took her and I made sure that it was a nice and clean place and reputable, and that actually made me feel really good, and she was very happy. So I think overall it was a good call. And then since her official birthday was April 1st, I put a picture of her when she was little. And I don't know, I love that picture of her because she's missing her front teeth, and it was just really funny. I also took her to Panda Fest, which is a food festival that I think it goes through different cities, and it finally came to Atlanta. Then the week after that, I had a project in school where I had to do something creative that had to do with astronomy, and I created different representations with clay of some of the most important moons in the solar system. I had so much fun with that project. I also made a video about it, not for YouTube, but like for school, and it was really fun. Then I also went to a candlelight concert that was featuring music by Studio Ghibli, and I loved it. And we went on a date night, my husband and I, and it was just so cute because we were both dressed up, and I straightened my hair, which I hadn't done in so long. And I don't know, it was just really cute and out of the ordinary things that we normally do. Nothing much on this one. I was packing. I'm not sure where I was going. Oh yeah, we were packing because we were going to go to Hawaii, which we actually went in May 2nd, and I think I have some pictures. I was so grateful. I think I've said it in other videos, but if it's your first time here, well, I'm from Cuba, and I lived in Cuba until I was 18. And when I was little, for me, countries like the US or states like Hawaii or destinations like that just sounded so out of the realm of possibilities for me. So I am so grateful that I was able to go. It was just one of the most magical experiences I've lived through. It's such a beautiful, beautiful place. A lot of magical things happened while we were there. Like I saw a seal like right there in front of me in the water. And then another day I saw the same, I think it was the same seal. But this time it was in the sand, and I had to, like, they put this like thing so that people don't bother them, and you give them like the space that they need so that they don't get scared, which was something that I had never seen. And I don't know, I was just in awe of everything I saw, especially all the scenery. It was just so beautiful. I even saved the wrapper of one of the chocolate candy bars that I got there. When we came back, we were just so exhausted. I think that it was even more exhausting than it would have been, because I came back around a time that my company has like a, well, when I say my company, like, it's not my company, but the company I work for has like a company event every year around the same time, and it coincided with the time after Hawaii, and I was just so tired. I don't know how we made that work. So everything after that event is mostly to-dos and not a lot of decoration, and it looks kind of ugly, but hey. I think the only thing I decorated was when Victoria Schwab came to Atlanta to advertise her Bury Your Bones book, which I honestly loved. I wouldn't say I liked it as much as I liked Addie LaRue, because Addie LaRue has a special place in my heart. But I truly liked it. I think it was like a 4 stars for me. The only reason it's not a 5 stars is because the ending felt a bit abrupt, which is hard for me to say, because again, I love Victoria Schwab and I love everything she writes, but the ending was just a bit rushed, I think. So that's half of 2025 right here. Probably in my next video I'll show you the other half of 2025, at least what I have so far. So now I'll move on to the first daily insert that I completed, which covers January to May. As you can see, I always follow a similar style. I just put something here in the middle and the date where I started it. I should probably put the date where I finished it as well. A picture of Lunita. She's so pretty. And I want to do this more, just put a Polaroid of that moment at the beginning of each insert. And this is something that I wanted to start doing with all my inserts, where every month would be marked by something art related that spoke to me, but I did not continue to do that. Now, as far as my daily journaling is, I mean, I was gonna say boring, but I don't think it's boring. More, it's like I don't have a lot of rules for like decorations or anything like that. I just write whatever comes to mind. A lot of it is just dreams that I had the night before, or things that are in my mind, but you know, nothing too crazy. And I don't force myself to decorate. I only do it if like I want to, or if I got a sticker sheet that I want to try out. Sometimes I'll put like a picture, like here. This was a picture of the book El Miedo, like that I guess would translate into fear, by Maria Hesse. I think she's an illustrator. I'm not sure if she's a writer, but she writes, or maybe she's both. But the book is about fear and the different ways in which it manifests and how it manifests, and the way she illustrates and the way she writes just have a way, like I can connect to it really easily. And I don't know, I truly loved it. This is the manual for one of those, it's kind of like a replica of those like popular Lego flowers, and we got this one at Five and Below. And my daughter and I took some time to put it together. So and it was the first time that I did something like that. I typically don't like Legos or anything, so yeah, it took a while to get that done. This was a label that I designed for my husband for a bottle, because he loves to brew mead, and I was in charge of designing the label for the bottles. I think I made another version of it that I like more, and that's the one we're gonna use. And I think it's transparent. I'm not sure. I don't remember, because I did it and then he didn't brew anything for like a while. So for March I used this Frida Kahlo painting. It's a Tree of Hope, and it's a reminder to remain strong. I really liked it. This is an important spread for me, because I've always wanted to have a sticker shop, and sometimes I play around in Procreate thinking, okay, if I had a sticker shop, what would I do? Like, what would be my first like sticker sheet? And I designed this. It's around El Dia de Muertos, which is an important holiday in Mexico. I lived in Mexico 9 years, in Guadalajara. That's where I made my best friends, and I just love Mexico so much. And this is inspired by that. If you don't know, like, the celebration around Dia de Muertos, and probably, like, if you watch Coco, probably you know, but basically there's like this altar for the person that you lost, and then on this altar you put the things that that person liked when they were alive. And it's just a really beautiful ritual and a way to keep the dead among us and to remember them. So yeah, and the name December Daffodils is the name that I would use for my sticker shop if I had one. So yeah, I kept writing a lot. This is kind of a very personal letter. I'm not blurring any of these things because I feel like it's hard to read my handwriting, so that's what I'm counting on. But as you can see, my journal is just very, it's always the same. I don't feel the need to put a lot of things, especially the daily one. This is like a drawing that I made of the view that I have from my tree, from my office, and I really love drawing the leaves of that tree, because since I'm always looking through that window every day of my life, I can easily spot all the changes to the tree. So it's just so fun to draw it because it's changing all the time. And I don't think, oh my god, I forgot about this picture. I love this picture so much. This is a picture that I took of my wall, but the way the light was causing shadows, like you could see the shadows of the leaves and the lamp that I have, and it's just the way it looked was just so beautiful. And probably I'm not even explaining it right. I think the picture speaks by itself, but I just love that picture. And I use a lot of stickers by Untitled Paintings. I love her style of stickers. I love her style of drawing. I love her videos. So I was really inspired by her stickers, and I think most of my journal was decorated with her stickers, actually. Then after that one, this is the one that follows. I decorated the cover with a mermaid and a turtle because it was, some of the Hawaii inserts are here. Not inserts, some of the Hawaii spreads are here, and I felt like it was really suitable. So I got this from a local artist in Hawaii. It's Groken 25, and we had such a long conversation about art. And she's been an artist for a long time, but she just recently started sharing her art and selling her art. And she told me that she needs to remind herself every day that she is an artist, and that her art is worth sharing with the world. And that just, I don't know, it meant so much to me. She had this like sign right on her booth that said, "I am the artist." And I don't know, there was just something so powerful about that. So this is also by her. I love it. I love it so much, and I love the fact that it's gonna be forever in my journal. This is a picture of me. And what I love about it is that if you don't know that that's a picture of me, it could easily be a picture of my daughter. And a lot of people have confused us, like when they look at us from behind, because we have the same type of hair. And the beginning of the journal is just me talking about Hawaii and how grateful I am. A map of Oahu, where that's where we stayed. Something really important and interesting happened here too, which is that I changed my writing to cursive. And I've always had this thing where, I've always wanted to share my journals. like, and be part of the journaling community. Like, it's just, if there's a community that I want to be a part of, it's this one. And it's kind of hard at the same time, because you see so many beautiful journals, perfect, the spaces, the, there's no flaws, there's, everything's just so clean and aesthetic. And sometimes I feel like if I write in cursive, it doesn't look that way. But then I also feel like it doesn't have to look that way, because it's my journal and I don't want to perform for people in my journal. And then when that clicked in my mind, I just started to writing in cursive. I feel like this type of lettering is good for my planner, because I think it's easier for me to see things, versus here sometimes I don't even understand my own handwriting. So I might use it for my planner, but I want to be free when I write in my daily journal, and I'm trying to do that more, which is sometimes why I don't post my daily journal as much in social media. So yes, I hope that made sense in some shape or form. These pages are really important to me. This is right when I was about to publish my first book, and I copied the audio messages that my sister sent me after reading it for the first time. She was the first person to read it. This is the cover right here. And she actually designed that cover, which is why she was the first person to read it. And that first book is like a combination of different journal entries made into poetry. And I'm so proud of that book. It's my pride and joy. It's a book that was in the works for a long time, and I just feel too shy, too vulnerable to share it with the world. But I'm glad that I finally did. This page right here is just a drawing of a dead rose that I had in my desk. I love dead roses. I don't know what is it about it, but I just love them so much. I love flowers in general, but especially when they're dead. The same way that I love fall, because everything's dying, and there's just something so beautiful about that. But as you can see, aside from the changing lettering, a lot of it remains the same. It's just a lot of writing. The only thing that I do is that I put the dates with a stamp, which I think I stopped doing for a while in this notebook, but I can't remember. But yeah, a lot of writing, not as many stickers as on the last insert. This is a really rough sketch that I made of a girl that was reading at Barnes and Noble's. I couldn't finish it because she left before I could finish the drawing, and I'm not good at drawing, especially human anatomy. It's just I'm terrible at it, but there's just something so satisfying about capturing something. I don't know, I'm bad at it, but I really enjoy it. And I'm glad that I was able to capture at least a little bit of her. This is a letter that I wrote that I'm not going to show because it's too personal. That's why I put this here. A lot of my journal is also experimental writing. Like if I'm feeling something, I'll try to use it to experiment in my writing. And I don't know how to explain it in any other way that's not that. For example, here, apparently I was thinking about freedom, and I wrote, imagine waking up to wings. Imagine the weight of them, the uncomfortable heaviness of them. If you're anything like me, you would immediately try to fly, only to immediately fall down. Having wings is not enough to fly. Eventually, you would have to start by learning to move them, so you start flapping them. Little birds start learning in the nest as they observe their parents do it in front of them. But nobody in your family has wings, so you have to learn all by yourself. Eventually, you manage to sustain your weight, which makes sense because that should always be the first step. Parent birds often call to their feedlings or even hold food up to them for encouragement. This helps them to fly in order to be fed. But nobody you know has ever fled. There's nowhere to look to learn. After much flapping, fumbling, trying and trying again, your wing muscles become stronger. And while you've lost some feathers and hurt yourself along the way, you can now claim flying for yourself. Spread your wings and fly away. I write a lot of about my dreams a lot too, and sometimes they're the topic of some of my later writing works. I like to write in English, but I mostly like to write in Spanish. So sometimes I'll practice in both of them, and I also alternate in English and Spanish in my journal. So yeah. And yeah, that was it for this one. Definitely happy about the way this one turned out. I love the change to cursive. In Cuba, that's how you learn to write. Everybody writes in cursive. And I'm happy that I went back to something that feels so familiar to me. In terms of how thick they are, I think both of them are pretty the same. I don't like when they get super, super bulky. Like, I mean, I like it in terms of visual aesthetics and the feeling of it, but I don't like it in terms of storaging them. I feel like they get damaged easy. And yeah, so that's for my daily journal. The next and last thing is my commonplacing / reading journal, which follows a very similar format from what you've seen. I initially thought that I would print like all the books that I wanted to read and, you know, scratch them as I was reading them, but I never went back to do that. So at the beginning, the first things we have are some books that I read in January and February. We have Our Share of Night by Mariana Enriquez, Elena Sabe by Claudia Piñeiro, and Notes on an Execution. I loved all of these a lot. Typically, the way I go about my reading journals and comments is just that I write about the main thoughts that crossed my mind while I was reading them, or I write some quotes that meant something to me. I think this book will make it to, I don't know, my all-time favorites list. That's how much I loved it. There were so many quotes that spoke to me. I was even inspired to print some pictures that reminded me of the book. And yeah, more quotes here. I think it's mainly, I think most of it is quotes. And then by the end, I think all of this is like my thoughts. Then I read The Whispers by Ashley Aldrin. I already read The Push, also by her. And there's something about Ashley Aldrin, like the way she describes motherhood and the commentary around it and how it's different for everyone and the sacrifices that it entails and how it changes you as a woman. And it's just like she has so many things to say, so many important things to say about motherhood, about human relations. I love the way she writes. Then I wrote a little bit about journaling as a museum of the self. I think another creator made a video about this and I was inspired to do something similar. So I wrote about this woman, Evie Risky, I think that's her last name. And she wrote 33,000 diary entries in her life. And I was just so inspired by that. That also made me think about Frida Kahlo and the way that she used to, you know, have this like super free journal entries that were combined with paintings, and they were just so free. That's the only word I can think of, and it made me think about my own style of journaling and about Virginia Woolf, because she also had her journal. And I don't know, it was just a very interesting commonplacing session. Then I wrote about the Blind Boy podcast. I heard about this podcast by V. Schwab. I think it's one of her favorites. So I started to listen to it and I adore this podcast. This one in particular was about about mental health, but in specific, he was there was a part of the podcast that he was talking about daffodils, and he was referring to something that he called December daffodils, which I don't know if you remember that, but I was just talking about if I ever have a sticker shop, the name would be December daffodils, and that's because of this podcast episode. And he was saying that sometimes daffodils, instead of flowering in February as they should, they would come out in December, and they're doomed to die because December it's not the ideal month for them to flower because there's not enough sunlight. But regardless, they'll do their best and they'll try to thrive. And he was comparing daffodils to some human beings that, for whatever reason, are born and they don't have everything they need to thrive in the world and to grow the way they were supposed to. They don't have love, or they're not nurtured in the way they should have, or they're abused. And there's a lot of December daffodils out there, and I would want my potential sticker sheets to pay homage to that. This is when I got my Hirono figurine, and I did a whole spread on the symbolism on all of those. I feel like this is just amazing art, and I love art that captures everything that happens in childhood. It's just so beautiful and symbolic and nostalgic, and I feel like it's just type of art that everybody can connect to, and because of that we can all connect with each other. Then this is in March. I watched Flow, and it broke my heart, and I had to write about the amazing movie that it is. I also wrote a little bit about the book that I was telling you earlier, Cadáver Exquisito by Agustina Basterrica, and some of the symbolism around it, and how it tackles with some important topics in philosophy. So I wrote about some of the philosophers that have talked about those things. I also read The Anthropocene Reviewed by John Green, which I loved. I love John Green's writing. I don't know what is it, but he always makes me cry, even when he's writing nonfiction. So I adored it. I read 1984, which also made me cry, but in a different way. As somebody that lived in Cuba, I have to say that there were just so many parallels between what happens in 1984 and what happens in Cuba. And especially now, I think not only in Cuba, but things that are happening everywhere. So it was hard to read, but important. I read The Life Impossible by Matt Haig, and I have to say, honestly, I was a little bit disappointed. I read The Midnight Library by Matt Haig as well, and I loved it. And I was hoping to find something like this in here, and I didn't. I'm not saying it's a bad book or anything. I think I was just expecting something different. That's it. Then I read The Place by Annie Ernaux, and I adore Annie Ernaux. She is one of my favorite writers. I love how raw her writing is. And I've read several of her books already. I think 3, and I'm missing 2, I think. And I love them all the same. I love everything she writes. My favorite book by her is the one where she talks about an abortion that she had. I think, oh yeah, I actually wrote about it here. It's in Spanish is El Acontecimiento. I don't know the name in English, but it's just amazing. Very hard to read, but amazing. I also decided that I wanted to read more books written by Cuban authors, so I read My Favorite Girlfriend Was a French Bulldog by Legna Rodriguez Iglesias, which I loved, and there were some quotes that I wrote down as well. What else? I read The Keeper of Lost Things and Mendel, el de los Libros, by Stefan Zweig. Am I saying that right? And The Keeper of Lost Things is by Ruth Hogan. I like both of them, but honestly, I don't think they'll make it to my favorite books of the year. Then I read, and I'm so sorry in advance because all these names are in Spanish, but it's a book by Albert Camus, The Myth of the, oh my God, in Spanish is Sísifo. I'll put it here. I'll put it on the screen. And then I read a book by my best friend, actually, Annie Gonzalez. She wrote a book that's based on her nightmares, and I wrote about it, and I wrote like what I thought about everything. I also read Bury Your Bones in the Midnight Soul, which I touched on a little bit earlier. Again, like a book that I loved all the way through the end, but just the ending was what didn't make it a 5 stars for me. Then I read The Man in Search of Meaning by Viktor E. Frankl, and it was just a very hard read, and I cried several times, but it's just such an amazing book. I read All Fours by Miranda July, which is a unique book that talks about menopause and getting old and intimacy and just so many things at the same time, and individuality and identity, and it's just great. And this is the year where I finally read the Hunger Games books, but I started backwards. So the first one that I read was The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which I loved. At this point, I watched the movie like 3 times, and again, I read the book, and I feel like the book is just 100 times better. Some pictures as well, because I was very inspired. Then I read Sunrise on the Reaping, which destroyed everything in me. This book was just made to tear apart hearts. This book is just so terribly sad and so important and necessary. I feel like it just adds so much more complexity to Haymitch's character in the Hunger Games, and it makes you understand why he's the way that he is. And I used to hate Haymitch from the movies, and now I read this and it destroyed me even more because of the fact that I didn't like him. Crazy. Suzanne Collins knows what she's doing. Then I read The Bewitching by Silvia Moreno Garcia, which was great. I had already read Mexican Gothic by her, so I knew I was gonna like this one because I love her style of writing. I also read Babel by Arf Kwan, and this book is also going to make it to my all-time favorites. This book is everything. This book needs to be read by everyone, especially in this day and age, and I could not recommend it enough. It's just amazing, and I know it can be intimidating because it's kind of like it's a big one, but it doesn't feel like it's a long book once you start reading, because it just melts like butter. And then I was studying, because I'm studying psychology, and I have a class in cognitive psychology, and we're studying the connectome, and I just felt like it was such an interesting concept, because it's just basically the representation of all the neural networks in our brain and how different areas communicate with each other. And the thing is that the connectome it's almost like a fingerprint, because it's different for every human being, and it was just so beautiful as well, like visually, and I wanted to write a little bit about that. And then I had some more notes on Babel, because I left I thought this was gonna be enough, and it wasn't, so I had to write about Babel after. And more Babel, again, it's a must read for everyone. And that concludes my Commonplace notebook. I have already created another spread, oh my god, I always confuse spread with insert, another insert for my new Commonplace notebook, but I have not started it, and I already have 3 books that I've finished from this last one that I have to put here, and I haven't been able to do that. But I always do the same thing, just picture, and that's it. But yeah, that's everything I have for you today. I hope this was interesting. I love this type of videos, and it have been such a while since I did this, and I wanted to show you everything I've been working on. And yeah, I guess next time I'll show you how I'm journaling now that I'm on this notebook right here. This one was, like I said, designed by my sister, and I can't wait to show you. So I'll try to post more regularly. This is a promise more for myself, and I can wait to talk to you next. Bye bye.